So speaking of crap in the bed, the Democrats are once again trying to struggle with the post-election because they're losing working class voters. AOC losing establishment key vote. My goodness, so many people. How the Democrats continue to keep on denying younger members of their party key leadership positions. Well, the thing is, Hard Lens Media said this. Jimmy Dore has brought it up. Due Dissidents, INN, RBN, and hell, I'm going to cross that Rubicon as well. I've even heard conservative and libertarian commentators say, how come the old guard of the Democrats just don't give up positions of power and leadership to the younger groups? I mean, this is, again, when there was still that somewhat audacity of hope. Now, everyone that I just name dropped, everyone that I mentioned, even conservatives and libertarians, all kind of have come down to the correct conclusion that the Democratic Party is a corrupt institution that's not going to give up power, especially to the next generation, until they're assured that the next generation is just as corrupt as they are, okay? I mean, these politicians had the mindset of only enriching themselves, and they only think about their careers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and however long down the road. That's what they think about their careers. That's what they think about the money they're going to make, how it's going to profit them. And the Democrats are struggling right now on how to, I guess, keep themselves relevant. I said irrelevant. Relevant. So let's first of all talk about our good friend, AOC. Shout out again to K-Study QB. I don't know how you sit through this, buddy.
She was, unlike other members of the squad, including two who lost their primaries, she was an early supporter of Biden and then Harris, and she pushed back against those. I mean, she made her case on lots of issues, but she said to a lot of progressives, you got to get up and you got to go vote for them.
Yeah, and this was part of her presentation.
And that worked outstandingly terrible. It was a horrible thing to do. Hey, folks, when AOC said everyone to shut up, and we got to vote and stay behind Biden and Kamala, what did you do? Well, this is going to be the easiest democracy in chat ever. Type 1 for, I followed the orders of AOC. Type 2, no, I ain't listened to her. I went back to cracking open a beer and told her to F off.
To the call.
No, wait, better yet. Type 2, if when AOC said, hey, guys, we got to support Democrats, and you said, here, let me think about it. Here's what I think about it.
Here's what I think about it.
You go.
As well, that she was a good soldier in backing the ticket. AOC is probably the most talented Democrat on the scene right now. She's incredibly charismatic, a fantastic messenger. Whether she's in a position like this or not, she is going to be a lightning rod and a force that Republicans want to use against Democrats. This was it was a battle between centrists and progressives. Centrists keep losing, yet they keep blaming progressives. I think at some point it might be time to actually give progressives who seem to do well, seem to have viral moments, seem to have a real following in a way that Jerry Connolly and centrists have not. I mean, you look at what Kamala Harris did. I mean, she essentially ran right next to Liz Cheney, right?
Yeah.
She stiffed arm progressives and she lost across the board. And so at some point, maybe it might be a good chance for Democrats to give.
Although I
don't know. I think it's the stitching together of the centrists and progressives is going to be the path forward for a successful.
Stitching us together. Look, I've had my fair share of body horror films, okay? And there is Basket Case. That's an old school classic horror movie. For those who remember horror movies in the 80s, hey, shout out to you. Or then there's the body horror situation with The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum. Or there's the recent stitching up scene. I don't know if you guys seen the film The Substance, okay? That's a movie that I wasn't prepared for, okay? I wasn't prepared for that nightmare. I'll talk about it after this segment, all right? So if you watch a live stream show, sometimes during a little break, I might mention a little story time here and there, and I'll tell you what I thought about that movie. Jesus Christ. But hey, imagine it. We're being stitched together with the centrists. How'd that work out for all of you? How'd that work out for all of us?
Democrat. So it's finding a way to bring those factions together.
And I would argue that Jamie Raskin, who pushed to be a judiciary chair and became judiciary chair, he's pretty progressive.
Yeah, he is pretty progressive. He's not as charismatic or as talented as AOC.
All right, everybody stand by because coming up.
Oh, yeah, stand by. Here, speaking of Speaking of madness and stupidity, stand by for this. Discussing the snuggle struggle, the Democratic post-election to return to the working class. Because, folks, the Democrats can never screw up, can they? Can they?
Well, I was saying, I think, Willie, there's a temptation on the part. Can you guys? Hopefully, you can hear me. There's a temptation on the part of some Democrats to look at how close the race was, and point out that Harris became close, and as you guys were pointing out in the first hour, those 3 blue wall states, she didn't get wiped out. It wasn't a landslide. It was a very close election, and Democrats did reasonably well.
We're talking about the same election there. They lost the popular vote and the Electoral College. Okay. Now, yes, was it a tight race? No pun intended. Yeah. But it was coming down to the conclusion, a foregone conclusion. that Kamala was going to lose. Okay. Democrats did well. Oh no. $1 billion in the campaign, $20 million in debt. What are you smoking there, baby?
At the House level and won a bunch of those battleground states. At the Senate level, there's some for Democrats that's basically a way to say, hey, we don't need to do root and branch reform of the party. And I think there's a large number of other people in the party who think, hold on a second, not just in this election, but now stretching back. And this is something that Rev was just talking about, stretching back now 20, almost 30.
Who is breathing hard and moving around in the background? Listen to this. Sorry, I got to bring that up here.
There's some for Democrats that's basically a way to say, hey, we don't need to do root and branch.
Did you hear that snort? Listen very carefully. Ignore. Listen to the background. Unless I'm missing something, audience, correct me. Listen.
Landslide. It was a very close election, and Democrats did reasonably well at the House level and won a bunch of those battleground states. At the Senate level, there's some for Democrats that's basically a way to say, hey, we don't need to do root and branch reform of the party. And I think there's a large number of other people in the party who think, hold on a second, not just in this election, but now stretching back. And this is something that Rev was just talking about, stretching back now 20.
You guys hear that? I mean, okay, so hold on. You guys hear it, right? Okay, someone got the booger sugar. Exactly. Okay? I mean, it sounds like that. Hold on. We're going to have democracy in chat real quick. Type 1 for Kit. Your imagination is getting the better of you. Type 2, no, dude, I hear it too. You're not crazy. You're not crazy yet. Please. Legit question. Legit question this time. Come on. Please. Really, I got to know. All right? Okay. All right, so you guys hear it too. I'm not crazy. Okay, great. Hold on. I mean, we got people saying Zelensky and Hunter Dare, 0.5 gram up each nostril. What else we got here? We got Trash Panda, Smoky Sally. Okay, a lot of snorting. Yes, I heard Darth Vader. All right, something. It's something. Please. Okay, there you go. Just. Thank you, chat. Thank you, live stream. All right, hold on. Wait, we could have Serapha says, 1, it's a bulldog, a pug. Well, then that dog is struggling. All right, that dog is struggling to breathe. Breathe, puppy, breathe.
Almost 30 years, Democrats have ceased to be the party of the working person in America, the thing that historically the party was. It started with a lot of with weakness with white working class voters. It's now with Latino working class voters, and it's increasingly with black men, working class black men. And that is not a position that allows for the Democratic Party to be a majority party in America. We still have a country, Willie, where 60% of the country is not college educated, and if you're not able to compete for working class votes, you can't be a majority party. And I think a lot of Democrats, when they think about what has to happen now, figuring that out, and also figuring out this thing that Ram was talking about, which is the party has become the party for a lot of people of the establishment, of the institutions, and of.
John Michael tipped $5. When will the Democrats realize they trust a horrible candidate on their they thrust a horrible candidate on their people, and all of them said F you. That is why they lost. John, You're light years ahead of the Democratic establishment, okay? To them, you are a higher being. What you just said there is so factually correct that it is above the Democratic establishment's party's mindset to fully understand, okay? Oh, we gave a horrible candidate. Absolutely, John. But see, the thing is, they don't understand. They don't understand because they took their voters for granted, right? They dismissed their voters. They dismissed any kind of criticism. John, mandatory thumbs up for John. You're light years ahead of them, man. You can't fix the stupid people who are running the clown show in the Democrat Party. They're still trying to come up for excuses.
Of the rich to some extent, that the fact that it's become the party of college educated voters also means more affluent voters. And this Trump administration offers some opportunities to the point that Rev made, for Democrats to get their mojo back in the populist lane, in the reform lane, try to make these arguments about what you're seeing or about to see in the Trump administration going forward in terms of kind of almost a pay for play element where it looks like kind of a giveaway to the plutocrats. It's a thing where that offers some opportunities for Democrats, on both fronts, the reform front and the working class, champion of the working class identity that they want to get back to.
Yeah, all that happening on Morning Blow, but don't worry, folks. More of our friends at BSNC, because they're discussing a full segment here. Somehow, Case Study QB, you sit through this, man. You are made of stronger material than I ever will be. Why they won't give up leadership.
We must stay in the fight. Every one of us.
That was Vice President Kamala Harris earlier today,
Kamala Harris, looking to inspire people. We got to stay in the fight. Well, let's talk about the fight. You couldn't rally your soldiers. When you couldn't rally your soldiers, you failed.
boost sagging morale among high school and college students and recent grads who feel demoralized by the election results. It's a feeling that the majority of the party frankly shares. Many Democrats are calling for an audit to figure out how the party lost control of the White House, the Senate, and failed to retake control of the House. In the meantime, there's been plenty of finger pointing, which has bubbled up over in the House, where the younger members have been trying to unseat their septuagenarian colleagues as ranking members of key committees. Some have failed, others have succeeded. 43-year-old Jasmine Crockett of Texas tried to unseat 71-year-old Debbie Dingell of Michigan in her leadership role, spearheading the party's political messaging, but failed. And yesterday, the Democrats' Steering and Policy Committee voted to recommend 74-year-old Jerry Connolly of Virginia as ranking member of the Oversight Committee over 35-year-old Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. That said, 52-year-old Angie Craig of Minnesota will replace 79-year-old David Scott as ranking member of the Agriculture Committee. Despite all the consternation, 2024 was not a mandate for Republicans. This election was won with a very, very small number of votes in a few districts in certain states. So what's the Democratic Party to do? Well, joining me now is Alyncia Johnson, former Biden-Harris 2020 senior advisor, founder of 1063 West.
So first of all, okay. What happened on November 5th? Okay. What happened on November 5th was a day, okay, in which the Democrats' propaganda machine fell apart. That's what happened. Now, people say, well, it's not a mandate. Well, I remember when Democrats were saying in 2020, Biden getting elected was a mandate.
West Broad, and author of the upcoming book, Flip the Tables. All right, let's unflip this table, sis. Kamala Harris represented the generational change that base Democratic voters demanded. And yet, when you go to the House and Senate, no generational change. Does that make sense to you?
It absolutely does not make sense. And to be honest, it's part of, and I love the lead in with her remarks about staying in the fight and taking
we
care
could have
of
had a baddie, but we decided to have an oldie.
Oh, I think about that all the time. I hear play that Lizzo song in my head every time I think about her. But like, she was literally a disruptor. But if we think about it, Barack Obama was a disruptor,
Yes, he was.
right? Folks didn't want him to run for president when he decided to, and look at the historic presidency that we had. And so I actually believe that Democrats have been talking about, I haven't been on TV because I've been taking care of myself, but I have been thinking about the conversation about what happened in 2024. Mm-hmm. Democrats are having the wrong post-election analysis.
Agreed.
And it's not to double down on the older, white leadership. It is actually to shore up our base. We only win with young people, people of color, women. Why not have them in leadership? Why not have an AOC and a Jasmine Crockett who, quite frankly, are never scared?
Never.
Of
And
Donald
can
Trump or
communicate with
Republicans.
regular people about regular
Absolutely.
things. I mean, AOC and Jasmine Crockett are probably two of their best communicators. And you have people that have the skills, but they're not pushing them forward.
That's right.
Ayanna Pressley is one of your strongest communicators. Why isn't she pushed forward? Do you also feel that these women of color, these young women of color, are getting set aside in a party that during this campaign?
Why they're being pushed aside? It's because power doesn't give up so easily. Power doesn't resign. Power holds on. And we have a system where you have lobby groups and corporations and banks and Wall Street and hedge fund managers able to buy off a politician. Of course, this happens. They don't give up power. And remember, the squad did start off with a bang and ended with a bust.
And this was Biden's team that Harris took on, refused to pay for the ground game. They didn't want to give LaTosha Brown and Black Voters Matter any money. They wanted to give it to these big, giant consulting firms run by mainly majority folks who made a lot of money and refused to put money on the ground to get young voters out.
Yeah, and that the consulting class tends to lean to, let's figure out the moderates, right? Let's go pick up some moderate
Convert
voters.
Republicans.
But the reality is we've seen the exit polling and conversations, even anecdotal conversations that I've had with folks, Black and brown voters didn't even get any mailers. There were some conversations that weren't even they weren't even touched. No. And so to the point that you're making about AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Jasmine Crockett being a great messenger, you think about Donald Trump. He is a wonderful messenger. That's the credit that I'm going to give him. He knows how to use culture and reach people so he can distract them from what the administration is going to do. Yeah. We need messengers to make sure that people are paying attention to all these hearings on Capitol Hill, to communicate to voters. I don't agree with what Bernie Sanders said, that we've abandoned the working class people. No. We actually are the party of working class people.
And working class people are not all white.
And they're not all white. And actually, we have the policies for those people. Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Pressley, AOC, the list goes on. Those women know how to communicate to those voters. That's why you saw so many AOC Trump voters, right? Yeah. She did that polling and people want to be engaged.
They want authenticity.
Authenticity and feel as though their voices are heard. And those are the disruptive voices that I think the party needs to concede, retire, enjoy the rest of your life.
What is about this?
Let them be
this gerontocracy seems like it's intractable. And I recall that when President Obama was elected, he kind of pushed aside the DNC and created his own organization because I think there's a frustration with the sort of creaky way the DNC operates. Jamie, God bless him, couldn't really change it. But it is run by donors and consultants and people who are locked into the old ways of doing things. They want to advertise on TV. And look, I'm for TV. Okay, I love TV. We work on TV.
Yeah, I like how she says, I work on TV. I work on TV. I work on TV. I work on TV. And there it is. That's right. There it is, everybody. This is just how it is. People are saying also, Black Hatchet Production says this is worse than Fox Noise. Oh, bit of an understatement there. Let's see. Hold on. Lawrence Fine. Well, you're not going to argue with that one here, folks. But it's all about TV. You know what that's a sign is? Producers, please don't kick me off the air. I know we're hemorrhaging viewers. Please don't kick me off the air. Please don't kick me off the air. Please don't kick me off the air.
But they don't want to do the sort of new world media, right? But that an AOC is so good at.
Totally. And new world media that actually doesn't cost as much as people think it costs.
But it also doesn't make you as much money if you're a consultant.
And it doesn't. And listen, I've been a consultant. I was a consultant on the Harris campaign.
Yeah.
But you know what? I care about my community first and foremost and the strategies that will reach them. And those strategies are scrappy. They're new. They're different than the old guard. But listen, this isn't the 1990s. We can't continue to run those campaigns. And also, Joe Biden won because of some of that scrappiness, right? In a pandemic, and we had to defeat Donald Trump. And so, it's also disappointing that the DNC, like the people that are running to lead the DNC are all white men.
And the thing is, I think about what the voter who was ride or die for Kamala Harris looked like. It looked like the people at this table. It looked like AOC. Latinas voted with her. It was
Now, wait a minute. Corporate media did everything it could to derail the progressive movement. Corporate media did everything it could to derail even AOC. Hell, AOC winning in 2018 was an upset. Corporate media did play a role too in regards to, hey, these young Democrats coming in, just don't have what it takes. I mean, that's how I remember the story like that.
Latino men. But so the reality is you're not bringing to the table the people who showed you how to win because they voted for her. They were willing to ride with her. You're chasing Republican voters who, no matter what Trump does, are going to vote for Trump.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what he does.
Listen, the party should be led, to your point, by young women of color. Right?
Come on.
Because young
You wanna
women
win?
of color are the reasons that Democrats do actually have some of these wins. And we know how to communicate in ways that reach that more moderate voter, but also that progressive voter, because we talk about the issues that people care about, the kitchen table issues that Democrats like to talk about. But we're able to talk about those issues in an intersectional way that reaches more people.
AOC was a waitress. She knows what it's like to be a voter that doesn't make a lot of money.
That didn't have health insurance until she
didn't have
became
health
a member of
insurance.
Congress.
Come on. You know, we've got people like that. Let's give them some power. Come on, Democrats. Valencia Johnson, thank you.
No, that's not. Here's the thing. When AOC said, "Hey, I didn't get health care until I was elected into Congress," I mean, that's not going to resonate with voters. That's never going to resonate with voters. You know. So, what I have to say as I'm typing away, Democrats, you don't have what it takes to maintain consistency. And yet here's corporate media saying, "Oh no, give the new guard a chance." Foolish fools all around. They really don't have what it takes anymore, do they? They don't have what it takes. Beyond foolish, beyond pathetic, beyond weakness. My goodness, Democrats, you just don't have it. You lost all that touch, flavor, and power. Where is your mindset? Where are you at in the game? See, corporate media laid the groundwork, and so did the Democratic establishment throughout 2016 up until now. And no, the old guard won't give up power until either they can't be in office or they pass away. And they're wondering why they're losing voters.